is being streamed down to our Chico base. A few ground rules: please silence any sidebar conversations, turn off cell phones, turn down your radios so we can move forward. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to start off with the management objectives. Utilize the risk management process to identify and mitigate hazards to protect first responders and the public. Emphasis strategies and tactics that have the highest probability of success and the least exposure to first responders and the public. Develop strategies to protect life, property, communities, businesses, and infrastructure. Employ tactics that fulfill these priorities, applying resources to those with the highest consequences first. Follow the COVID-19, CDC, and establish local, state, and federal guidelines to limit virus spread within the incident and the surrounding communities near the fire area. Provide timely, continuous incident information to affected agency partners, cooperators, California Team 4, as well as the public. Maintain fiscal accountability to keep costs commensurate with values at risk. Control objectives, the box. Keep the fire north of the fire perimeter and Highway 162 and the junction of Highway 70. Keep the fire south of Harvey Valley Road. Keep the fire east of Mill Creek Drainage. Keep the fire west of Genesee Valley Road and Grizzly Ridge to Highway 70 and Highway 395 to limit fire spread. Current situation update, Eric Schwab.
Morning. Starting at the heel of the fire, Butte sector did a lot of great work in here, continuing mop up and still finding heat in this area right here. They've maintained the hose lay in there, so a lot of mop up will continue in here. Hose is starting to be pulled around the very heel of the fire. Moving into Division Juliet, priority for today, a lot of good work was done to prep this. Kind of close the gap up. It's been pre-treated, it's been plumbed, ready to burn for you guys when you get an opportunity. Moving up into Kilo, Lima, Nora, and Papa, a lot of scouting took place yesterday. Opportunities to go direct, they're looking at that, and they started to execute on that. Just a big piece of work to do, and then transitioning up into the park. Moving around to the very north end into Division Tango, a lot of spot fires were found in there yesterday. The wind was pushing the smoke column over there, very receptive fuel bed. We picked up about 60 spots in Tango last night. Anticipate more of those, and we also did some firing along the A21 road in Tango to help hold that road system. Moving down into the Triangle area, worked great with Team 4 yesterday and taking some little bites off of both sides of that, trying to pick it up as direct as possible. Some situational awareness for Team 4. We did find, or IR found a spot fire out in Division Oscar, about a mile and a half out in front of the fire. We assisted with some dozer work out there to try and check spread. And with that, have a safe shift.
Weather, Joe Gosward.
And good morning, everyone. Joe Goswood, incident meteorologist. Another night of poor RH recovery, anywhere between 35 and say 45%, depending upon where on the fire you are. The one big factor today versus yesterday and a couple other days is the lack of smoke. It's actually quite clear on parts of the west. So we're not seeing nearly as much smoke this morning as we have seen. So I would expect things to get going a little bit earlier, that inversion breaking a little bit earlier than it has over the past day or so. Otherwise, you've just got a big area of high pressure building on top of us. Highs, once again, are going to be in the 80s, a little bit cooler in the higher elevations. We're going to see winds primarily terrain driven this morning for the most part, then picking up, especially on the ridge tops, anywhere from say 4 to 8 miles an hour, with a few gusts of 12, especially on those higher ridge tops. So pretty much a fairly quiet day as far as the weather is concerned, but I suspect once that inversion does break, things are going to get a little bit busier, a little bit earlier than they have been over the past couple of days. Thank you.
Fire behavior, Brian Newman.
Okay, good morning. So in your IAP, behind the fire behavior forecast is a fuels and fire behavior advisory. Please review that with your crews when you're doing your briefing today. So as you heard from night ops, quite a bit of spot fires out there, and I expect that to continue today. So starting down in the Butte sector, it's looking pretty good for activity-wise, but this is where it's going to clear out the earliest this morning. Talking with the F-man down in the Chico, base down there. It's much more clear this morning than it has been, so expect that activity down in this western section to pick up earlier this morning, especially just what the IMET was saying as well. So as we moved up into the towards the Lassen sector, you can expect the activity to continue there and kind of push against the wind a little bit and still use the topography to grow. This fire is primarily driven by fuels and topography, so even a little bit of wind will drive the fire and get some increased spotting distances. So coming around the top side of the Lassen sector, there's quite a few spots out there. The latest IR this morning is showing spots all over anything that was downwind of the main fire, and expect that to continue today even with a little bit of wind. Our wind's going to be less than it was yesterday. Yesterday we saw 21, 22 mile an hour gusts, which got us about a half to 1 mile spotting. Today the winds will be in that 12 mile an hour range, so you expect your spotting still to be there in that quarter to half mile range into the very receptive fuel beds that are out here out in front of this fire. In the Lassen sector, the topography is a little better for going after it, especially as you get into some of those meadow areas, and that's where a lot of those spots are sitting right now, so it'd be good opportunities for that success. As you come down into the lake area here, expect more smoldering and a lot of ground fire that's in there. Again, very dry fuels, very receptive, and there'll still be quite a bit of activity, but it shouldn't get up and run very much on you at all. As you come into this section of the Diamond Branch area, very rough topography, a lot of clear cuts, and some fire scars. Do not let the fire scars be your point of control. They are just a new way of challenging us. So it's just a different fuel type rather than the timber. It's grass and it's slash, and they're very receptive to fire spread in there. So as you're making your plan in there, don't use those as your barrier points, but just know that they're going to be a challenge for your fire control efforts. Again, the wind's going to push across here, quite a bit of spots out in front of this. Expect that to continue through the day. Now for air operations, because of this smoke, we might have an opportunity in the mid-afternoon, so don't build your plan based on air operations. We've had a challenge with the smoke clearing out. We may have a little bit better opportunity of that today. Into the night, though, you'll have a little bit of a downward push, but it should not be as strong as it has been over the last couple of days. So as you get into the evening hours, relatively calm, so there'll be opportunities for getting after any of those spots and activity that's been out there. So take all that in consideration and have a good shift.
Safety Officer David Sargini.
Good morning, everybody. Your safety products are on page 7, 8, and 9. That includes your safety message, your 215A, and your COVID check sheet. Please utilize those resources when you brief your crews this morning and give them the plan for the day. A couple things we want to talk about. We talked about these yesterday. I want to hit this shift as well. Snags. Snags continue to be a major issue out there. Make sure we put in place our LCS to mitigate those hazards, as well as utilize the fallers that are on your branches and divisions. Make sure you guys and your crews are falling trees within your responsibility and your qualifications. Driving. We're at the point of our incident where people are starting to feel more comfortable with the roads and you have a good idea where you're going, which oftentimes increases our speed to those incidents or those assignments. Check that up with your drivers today. Make sure they understand that we are still on an emergency incident. You are a distraction to the community as you work your way through Susanville and into the other communities. Recognize that and bring your speeds back down. And finally, fatigue. Not only the physical fatigue of working out there and doing the grind that you guys are doing great work on, but it's that mental side. So have that conversation with your crews today. Make sure everyone is mentally prepared for the shift and has that check back from you as leaders to do that. Continue to push the hydration and nutrition and that pace for the day. You folks set that. Make sure we set the pace that's going to make it through the remainder of the shift and the entire shift. With that, you do have 10 safety officers out there to support yourselves. Please utilize those folks as you need. We are also here in the shop on Trailer Row here in Susanville, also in Trailer Row in Chico. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to stop by and have a conversation. Thank you.
Operations, Mark Brunton.
Good morning. So some of you folks have been here for a while. Some of you folks, this is the first time here. So for those of you that have been here, thank you for all the hard work you've been doing. And for those that are new, welcome. So a few historic firsts here going on so many levels. And one of this is that in Calfire, with our incident management teams and the history of them, this is the first time we've done a true transition from one Calfire team to another. So it's a little uncharted waters, and we're working our way through that. With that, we've gone from Calfire Incident Management Team 1 to Calfire Incident Management Team 3. Yesterday was the first day that Team 3 assumed the fire, and so some of you folks first shift on, and so it's a new look, and so I want to introduce you to our organizational structure and how the fire's set up, and for you new folks, this will be an introduction to how we have the fire organized. So with this overall fire, because of the variety of agencies involved, everything from CAL FIRE units to the various forests to a national park and so forth, we have the fire zoned into a west zone and east zone. The west zone is the CAL FIRE responsibility. East zone is under Incident Management, Interagency Incident Management Team 4, which is the Forest Service, and they've got that east zone. And we are working collaboratively together as one fire, one message, one strategy, and so forth. So basically that's how that's set up. On the west zone, something that's a little unique, something that that Team 3 has dealt with our large fires in the past few years, a good organizational structure that we've discovered that works very well for command and control, span of control, and good leadership is we've sectored the fire. So in the west zone, we've got the Butte sector, as you see, we've got the Lassen sector, and we've got the Westwood sector. Each sector is headed up by a Deputy Operations Section Chief. Myself being the lead, and each one of those being a deputy operations for each of those sectors. Underneath each sector, there's a branch, and then within those branches, some divisions and groups. Okay, so that's how our structure is set up on the west zone, and we are working collaboratively with our partners in the east, especially when we get into the areas at the zone break to effectively mitigate the incident. So I'll go through a roll call. We roll call down to the division level. So with our sector operations section chiefs, again, we're between still the incident base in Butte and here, so some of this is being broadcast there, and they're not physically here. But in the Butte sector, the Butte sector chief is Fields, Lassen sector Bohall, and the Westwood sector is Norman. He is currently at the briefing with Team 4, and he will be here shortly. Moving on to our branches. Again, down in the Butte sector, would be branch 5 is Stornetta, with division Bravo Charlie is Valurga, and their TAC is V-Fire 25. In division Echo, it's Cleveland with trainee Coos, and their NIFC TAC 2 is their TAC. Branch 7, branch director is Johnson. In Foxtrot is Cassoning, and their TAC is NIFC TAC 3. And in Gulf, India is Hunt, and their TAC is NIFC TAC 1. And moving on to folks that are actually here at our incident base, moving on to branch 9 is Monson. Here. Division Kilo already. Here. Your TAC, CDF TAC 30. Division Lima is open, that'll be a fill, and the TAC will be CDF TAC 29. Branch 13, Klimek, and he should be still up on the force, correct? Okay. And we have branch director Hispanic and trainee Bunch. And with their divisions and groups, they're TBDs and working on development of that branch. And that branch in particular is working up in the national park. So we're working conjunctively with those folks with their organizational structure and their needs. Branch 16 is going to be a fill, so the divisions will go directly to the sector. So Division Romeo is Strabecki, trainee Cox, TAC CDF TAC 28. Tango Malovich, TAC NIFC TAC 2. Uniform is to be filled, and their TAC is CDF TAC 31. Last contingency, Peterson, and your TAC NIFC TAC 3. The Lake Branch, Lovelace. Division Juliet, Boyce. Trainee Hill, TAC, CDF, TAC 28. Chester Group, Lohan. And your TAC is CDF, TAC 31. Almanor Group, Jacobson. TAC, V-Fire 26. Canyon Group is to be filled. Clear Branch, League. And 147 Group, Winnan. And TAC is CDF TAC 29. Meadow Group, Carp. V-Fire 25 for you. Janesville Contingency, Dyer. Coyote Group Cisneros. TAC CDF TAC 29. Wildcat Group is to be filled with the TAC of NIFC TAC 1. Fire suppression repair in the Butte, that'll be McDaniel and VFire 24. And then we have a staging that's up here, and that's Rodriguez. And they'll be on command. Okay, so that's our leadership for the day on our incident. Say priorities. So these priorities directly from our agency administrators, from our IC, and down to you guys out there on the field. Kind of common stuff, life, property, environment. Well, with the size of this fire, you've seen the destruction and so forth. We have many evacuations throughout the area, but our life is number one, obviously, as always, with our the community, and then also our firefighter life safety. Property. So some of these communities have been devastated, wiped out. It's a horrible thing, and what we want to do is we want to mitigate that. We want to eliminate the fact that we are going to have no further structure loss. So whatever we've saved, we're going to maintain and save. We have strong tactical patrol, heavy mop up in those areas so we lose no more structures. And there is a continued threat, as you've heard, towards the community of Janesville. And we have plans in place working with our partners in the East Zone to mitigate that factor the best we possibly can and to protect that community. And that's going to be our huge priority. Fire this large with limited resources. What we're doing as a team is we're prioritizing those things. We're triaging it. And we're going after and attacking those priorities. As we hit those priorities and move our way around, then we're going to have success. For each of our, and then we'll want to stop, obviously, the east and west spread of the fire. For each of our sectors, the Butte sector is looking really good. We're basically in a patrol and mop-up stage, starting to wrap that up, having success with that, and so that's a good win for us. Moving on to Westwood, our number one priority today is that Division Juliet. Okay, that's a huge piece. It's the last little piece to button that up. That's going to keep the fire from spreading down into another county. We've already got enough counties involved, enough communities involved. That's going to be huge to getting that thing knocked out, buttoned up. We've got it all prepped, firing operation when the conditions are right. Once we get that done, that's going to give us an anchor point to continue to move around this fire and start taking care of business. So, I've already told them, Jeff and Mike, you have a huge task ahead of you, no pressure. So make that happen. On the Lassen, Kevin's got a good plan going, working with the park and so forth, but the Highway 44 corridor is huge infrastructure thing there, not only with the roadway, main power grid, and communications. So that's a huge priority within that sector. So those are your priorities within each sector. A lot of you folks have been here for a long time, worn out, I get it, it's been a long haul, and it's still going to be a bit of a long haul ahead of us to get this. It's a big fire. I got to ask for patience. And it's easier said than done, but take that extra breath if you have to. There's a lot of changes going on. It's dynamic, this incident, but have the patience. We're working the best we can, give you a good plan, give you good leadership out there, so have that patience, we'll get there. Communication, you hear that time? I don't want to be cliche about communication, but obviously it's very important. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a mantra, something that General Mad Dog Mattis, he preaches out there. If you read his book, it's great. It's a great little tool to do. Okay, what do I know? Who needs to know? And have I told them? Okay, what do I know? Who needs to know? And have I told them? Close that loop. Have that communication loop. Close it, and that'll give you success. Okay. And finally, our charge to you as an operations section from Team 3 is fight fire aggressively and fight fire like champions today.
Air Operations, Matt Stanford.
Good morning. You can find aircraft information on page 53 and 54. Yesterday, we were able to get the air tankers up and the helicopters. We dropped over 100,000 gallons of water and retardant combined. Today available, we have the VLAT, a lead plane, air attack, and 2 S-2 tankers. We have 31 helicopters available on this fire, flying out of multiple helibases, so be aware of what's going on around you in the air. Any medical emergencies, follow the medical plan. Have a safe, productive day. Thank you.
Communications, Kyle Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. So this morning we have no clone, but when we do announce that we have a clone, please, it's imperative that you come in and get programmed. We have the East communication plan and a West communication plan in our IP and in your radios. So if you get tasked with going over to the East Zone at some point today, you have all those frequencies in your radios, and you have the 205 in your IAP. So please, just like at back of the unit, if you're getting sent to another district, you check out with your district and check in with a new district. So please do that, check in, check out. NIFC is going to be repurposed. It's Command 2, so if you turn to page 56, we're going to repurpose NIFC Command 2 and put it on A21 today to make that communications better up there. So eventually, at some point today, you'll hear that come in service. Again, if you go to the East Zone, please check in, check out, use their frequencies. Thank you.
Medical, Kevin Fortney.
Good morning. So your 206 got left out of the IAP this morning. We do have hard copies in the back that are printed up. Please make sure you grab one. You can also use the QR code on the front of the IAP to scan it, and it'll open up and you can find it in there. The important part is the box 8 information, the left side, the procedure, the right side, the information we need to help mitigate your issue. I'm sure that divisions will all go over this in their breakouts. Please make sure that it gets disseminated all the way down to the firefighter level, please. I'm on Trailer Row right behind you here. If you have any questions, you can always come by and see me. CalMet's still here for supplies. The doctor's there if you need to be seen. My number is at the bottom of the 206, and you can contact me if you have any questions. Have a safe day.
Logistics, Milford Ferguson.
Morning, Mill Ferguson, Team 3 Logistics. So for today, if you turn in the back of your IAP on page 65, 66, and 67, you're going to have all the maps for in camp, where ground support's located, and also fuel is on there. We have moved fuel out of camp onto out at ground support, and that's on that map in there if you look at those. Also, ground support for mechanic stuff is going to be at the headquarters that on 36, just north out of town. For supply, again, you can go by and get some forms to get ahead of the game. Get your CDF 101s for repair equipment, and then in any usable items, 213s. If you have any firing tools on there that you've been used, please branch or better. Get a signature and some phone numbers on there. Make sure that that's documented. Any other 213s and supplies that you're asking for in the field, please put some information and a phone number and contact that we can read so that we can get back to you in a timely manner if we have any questions about your order or if it's going to be delayed. You'll want to know that. Also in supply, before we get off that issue, anybody that was at the Westwood camp when that was running, there are some additional laundry. Your laundry is there. Go by and pick it up and try to find it there. It's where we stored that extra laundry that was missing. Your water and Gatorade here back in the camp, in between here and where all the engine parking is in the back. Please, no vehicles up there and stopping. Keep it moving. It's a supply area through there for walking and our supply trucks. So please walk in and get your Gatorade and take it back to your equipment. That just, they also have all the signs in camp and on the road. Please, trying to get all the engines into the back, and then we'll have overflow in the front for big, large equipment. So overhead in the back and engine in the front, and until the overflow, we bring it to the back for you. With that, have a good shift.
Training, Justin Boyson.
Good morning. Your training message is on page 59 in your IAP. Training is located directly behind you in Trailer Row, just past the incident trailer. If you have not registered with the training specialist yet, come and see me. I'll be available directly after briefing, or you could utilize the QR code at the bottom of page 59. If you already registered with the training specialist in Chico, there's no need to come see me until you're ready to close out. So if you're getting close to timing out and you've already completed as many tasks in your task book that you think you'll be able to complete on this incident, come see me, close out early. There's no need to wait until demob. When you come see me, I want to see your position task book, your evaluation record, and your ICS 225. If you need copies of those, I have them available in the trailer. My telephone number is at the bottom of page 59. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a ring. Thank you.
Information, Dan Olson.
Good morning. If you would turn to page 60 in your IAP, I've got some information pertaining to the incident. Please feel free to provide this to any media or general public you come in contact to provide them the latest update. In terms of acreage, fire is currently at 489,287. Containment is at 21%. and total personnel assigned to the Dixie Fire is 5,813. Additionally, you'll notice we have two phone numbers up top. Please provide those to the appropriate party should you come in contact them. We ask that if you come in contact with the general public, we are also starting to conduct a community meeting this evening, as well as we're doing daily updates on the radio station JDX 93 out of Susanville here. Please assist them in that information so we can start spreading the message. Photos and videos, please get those to us. We have a email set up. It's imt3_pio@fire.ca.gov. Get those to us so we can tell the story about what you guys are doing and provide that information as well. We do have a lost and found set up at the PIO trailer, and then we are also taking mail to ship and receive as well. Have a good day.
Liaison, Zach Hamill.
Good morning. For you who are cooperators, please come check in with the liaisons. There is a slight change for the cooperators briefing today. It is still at 10 o'clock this morning, but it's going to be in the plans building, the second building down across from the feeding. If you're running heavy equipment, we did have an issue with the railway. Please keep your equipment off of the ballast. So no equipment on any of the gravel. And then lastly, federal resources. You have peer support at the Mallory camp. So just down the road, there's some peer support for you. Thank you.
Finance, Roger Rains.
Good morning. Our finance message starts on page 61, and there's 2 pages of directives and 2 pages of form and examples. So my first 2 messages this morning are for our line supervisors and our staging area manners. First thing, we are in a cost share fire. You have to do cost share reporting. So at the end of your shift, depending on which base camp you're checking into, you need to check in with the cost share team. If you're checking into Silver Dollar, there's a phone number where you can do it virtually. If you're checking in here and working out of Susanville, that first fifth wheel right there is where the cost share team is. You need to check in every morning at the end of your shift. If you're checking into the East Zone, there is a phone number here for that as well. Secondly, shift tickets. Time units in that big trailer right there, that first blue one, the white one with the blue stripe. We need your shift tickets at the end of your shift. You need to drop them off there. If you need shift ticket books, we have a gentleman right here that's got shift ticket books. If you need more, we can get them from the time trailer. Secondly, for everybody, again, the time unit's set up there. No matter what agency you're from, we are able to collect your time there. If you are Calfire, we can take your personnel time there. There's an e-pay cafe set up for the end of the pay period or the new pay period, which starts today if you need to do e-pay. If you're an OES resource or a local government resource, the OES agency rep is here on site and their trailer will be here today. For our federal cooperators, if you are have CTRs or equipment time or a contract, we have a pickup system set up here at Susanville. You can drop them in the time trailer and Team 4 will have somebody picking those up and helping you with your time. If you're checking into Silver Dollar Fairgrounds, they have an email address set up. You can check in with the time unit there. Thirdly, for any property damage, suppression damage, vehicle damage, anything like that, you'll see a QR code on page 62 where you can use that to report that to the comp claims unit. If you're drawing water from someplace, we need that information as well. There's also a QR code there for our water source worksheet, or you can use the form that's in here. There's shift ticket examples, and then lastly, we have phone numbers in here for the equipment time and for comp claims. Have a great day.
Okay, a couple of reminders as far as division breakouts. They're going to be past the orange flagging in the back. Unassigned resources, please report over here so we can get you on the plan. The planning meeting will be tonight, 1700 hours in camp. Your next operational briefing will be here tomorrow at 0700. Closing comments, Unified IC, Jay Lusher, Billy C.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jay Lusher, the Unified IC for the federal agencies. You're now on the largest fire in California's history. Last year, somebody got to say that. The year before, somebody else got to say it. What has become normal used to be unusual. The way that we can get through these unusual events is to embrace our processes and take charge of what operations said about closing loops, making sure that what you know, somebody else knows, so that collectively we can work together to be successful on this wildfire. Thank you.
All right, good morning. Obviously, a large incident, it's under one single incident. That's how we're running this, with a set of guiding principles for 2 different incident management teams. Our job as incident management teams is to provide service and support to all the boots on the ground. That's the only way these incidents are successful. If you have any questions at all, any needs, find someone in the red hats. We'll ask them, and we'll take care of your issues that you have out there and meet your needs. The other thing is the operational organization and overhead structure that we provide for line leadership out on the ground. 2 main priorities: stay aggressive today, and think about all the communities that have been impacted and the size and magnitude of this incident. We need to start developing some normalcy and get things back to the way they were for all these communities. Thank you, and have a safe shift.
That concludes your operational briefing. Thank you.